by our words we shall be justified, and by our words we shall be condemned. Have you given up all sin? Yeah. When did you do that? Do you agree that any sex outside of marriage is sin? Do you agree that having sex outside of marriage is sin?
No.
Well, that's what Jesus said. From the Sermon on the Mount, he said, whosoever looks upon a woman to lust after her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. That applies to a woman lusting after a man, or a man after a man, or a woman after a woman.
What if you're single?
You learn to control your appetite. There's nothing wrong with appreciating a pretty girl, but you don't have to say, I want to get in bed with her. But you can say, I want to marry her and get in bed with her. That's all right.
What do you feel about like the Mormons?
Feel about what?
What about the Mormon belief you can like have multiple wives?
Well, they don't believe that anymore.
What do you think of my
I guess there are some sects that still hold to that. But, yeah, well, the Old Testament, God, the patriarchs did that. They could afford it. The kings did that. So you had to support those wives. And there wasn't any welfare to go on. And you had to support all the children. And, but that runs into problems. Read about the life of Abraham, where two women always wanting his attention, fighting like cats over him. So, I don't think you'd enjoy that.
What do you think of my shirt?
Straight, gay, bisexual, lesbian, trans, queer. You are, yes, you are a person,
Yeah.
a human being.
But I'm also trans and a homosexual. And a Christian.
Well, that means you're a perverted person.
Nothing.
Yeah, but God
I'm
still.
also asexual.
God still.
I have no interest in sex or anything like that.
Well, I can understand more about that. You know, most of these boys have been feminized, castrated, and emasculated. That you think, well, we want to sleep with these guys. They masturbate all the time, and they won't make good husbands. They don't want to take on responsibility. So you're not supposed to be thinking about sex until you're married.
Not at all. Can't even have the thought. Should I be thinking about sex then?
No.
Can you kiss him for marriage?
No, you should not only think about having sex with a husband, a man.
My fiance is a transgender male as well.
What?
So we're both
And
trans.
he's changing from biologically a woman to a man.
Yeah.
He's had an operation that cut off his penis. I mean, or did they sew one on? I mean,
Yeah.
where'd he get the penis?
From somebody who wanted to be a
Some
girl.
old guy died and donated his penis, or what?
He made it when a boy wants to be a girl and he has his dick cut off, those are given to transgender males.
Well, that doesn't make a vagina. Just cut a little slit down there. That doesn't make a vagina. Does he have ovaries? Does he produce eggs?
No, he does not. He
Yeah,
has
so
no
he's
baby.
not a woman. Well, whatever. Yeah, well, you are what you are biologically. This is science. We're talking about science here. So if you're born, if you've got an orifice down there between your legs, you are a woman. If you've got a banana-like object, you're a boy. Well, sometimes that banana will become more like a cucumber, if you know what I mean. And so that's boys. That's boys.
Oh man. And I have to help my friend after we're broken out of there. I'll go for that.
What do your parents think about all this?
What about people born with both sets of genitalia?
Well, from what I've read about, they used to call them hermaphrodites, is that there never has been one that produced both sperm and eggs. So you see what develops and what becomes prominent, and that's how you live. And, that's what actually a lot of people are doing today. That happens. So I think that's very rare. You know, occasionally there are people born with 2 heads or extra fingers, you know, and or without hands or feet. Things can go wrong. Things can happen in the womb or in the genes and go wrong. It's not normal.
Hey, I heard earlier that you're in a fraternity. What fraternity was that?
Delta Upsilon.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know the fraternity?
Yeah.
Are you one?
Yeah.
Pi Upsilon Theta?
Pi Upsilon Theta.
Meaning? What?
Oh, Justice is our foundation.
Justice is our foundation.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gold and blue, you are our colors true. We'll always honor, love, and cherish you. And through our college days, you'll guide us on through the true manhood of Upsilon. Can they still sing that? Well, that was our song at Indiana University in 1960. Yeah. We were a non-secret. That's what I liked about the DUs. You know, the Bible says we should avoid secret oaths, vows, secret vows. And so, there's nothing wrong with making vows, like wedding vows. You don't make secret ones. That was what was pink for the Delta Upsilon. At that time, it was only non-secret social fraternity. Yeah. Yeah, I became a DU. We were partiers.
Which chapter?
Indiana University. So, you know, actually you look at the founding principles of most fraternities or sororities, for that matter, founded on Christian principles. Justice is our foundation. Who can find fault with that? But I don't think any of us could have defined what justice is, much less put it into practice. How would you define that word justice?
Define justice? Well, simply, I guess like give what you get, or get what you give, rather.
I would say justice is getting what you deserve. See, mercy is getting what you don't deserve. We all deserve hell because we've all sinned. But God offers us grace, what we don't deserve, a second chance. We don't deserve it, but He offers it to us anyway. I want God's mercy. If I get God's justice, I would have been in hell a long time ago. The Bible says the grace of God that brings salvation has appeared unto all men, teaching us to deny ungodliness and worldly lusts. But we had our, test file, if you know what I mean, fraternity. It wasn't playing fair, exactly, justly. And because most professors graded on the curve, so we had an advantage. We had all the tests, and all these professors give the same test over and over. So we got the higher grades, grade on the curve. Other people who tried to do it honestly got lower grades who weren't acting justly.
No, not respectful, but no playing video games.
We took advantage of the girls, sweet talk them, pretend we really cared about them, and we were just using them for our own gratification. No, I don't know everybody was like that, but most of us were. But then years after college, at 29, I began to read the Bible. And I thought, if I get God's justice, I'll end up in hell for eternity. And I read about God's mercy as an offer through Jesus Christ. And I received His mercy and forgiveness. The Bible says, if we confess our sins, Jesus is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. So why aren't the rest of you following Christ? And I'll tell you why. Because you don't want to live this life of self-denial. You're determined to live the life of self-indulgence. And you're young now, you haven't paid 2 minutes of a consequence for your sin. Because the consequences of sin often come much later after the sin. Where do you get an STD from running into a diseased penis, girls? Then you wouldn't think it was so great. Or your boys run into a diseased vagina.
Vagina? I love those. Oh my God.
And you say, girl looks down, she shouts, what are these warts all over my genitals? I don't even remember who the guy was. I was drunk. And so you go to the gynecologist and he does a little exam and he gives you medication and removes sort of the symptoms and you forget about it. But then you get the chlamydia. And that can turn into cervical cancer in your 30s. And then, well, we got to do something about those ovaries. And they yanks up the ovaries.
I too want the ovary.
Now you're just like an old mule. Can't have children anymore. And so there are consequences to sin. I don't want you suffering the consequences. God doesn't really either. The consequence, it's not like God is smiting you, these diseases. It's just a natural consequence of unnatural behavior. So start living the way you were designed to live.